Hi, I'm Tracy L. Welcome. Okay, I get this question a lot. What is parasitical energies? How do you recognize them? How do you deal with them? Because they're not just the bugs in your body. So I'll also pull some energy cards. You can get your own deck below if you like them, and you have your own free video membership, and we jump on and play with them. We're going to have a class on that coming up. You can also book your own Read It Now below. So click the like, subscribe, and share. And come join me on the free Telegram group. Okay, so parasitical energies are people, places, and things. They're also the bugs in your body. But parasites, just like you understand parasites, when they take over, they can take over your thoughts, your feelings, right? So what attracts parasites? How do you deal with them? And how do you recognize them is usually what I get. So when people become parasites, they're like the vampire suckers. They're going to suck the life out of you. They are not going to uplift you. They're going to drain you. You've all dated people like that. I know I dated people like that. They all think they're wonderful and great. And then you realize they are sucking the life out of you. They can suck you emotionally, mentally, financially, emotionally, like they just physically, right? They just suck the life. You notice you're around them and you really feel drained. Now, there are people you can be around where you have a high vibration with them. And if your energy is trying to match theirs, you can get very tired if they're actually higher up on the ladder, right? So people sometimes get that confused. I see people that are really bad parasites. They'll be like, I always want to sleep around them. Well, it's because your energy is so bad that when it actually gets in that person's field, it wants to go to sleep because the body, what it'll do is go to sleep so it can adjust and upgrade to what that frequency is of the other person. So we don't all vibrate at the same level. So depending on who you meet, right, you're vibrating at different levels. It's no different than when you come and meet somebody could be vibrating here, then they move, they grow, they become, better on their life path. They're moving forward. This person hasn't moved, so your vibrations are missing. That's usually where a lot of arguments are. So you have actually the actual physical parasites that you go to your doctor and you deal with that, right? But so you have the places. So places can become parasites because they also can drain your energy. You can have bad experiences there. And I can do another video for you on entities and how you recognize that. But this is where you can go to places, it could be bad juju there. It may be a place you go to that maybe you had a past experience, maybe your family did, maybe there's past life connections, and that can also become a place that's not good. If you have a house that has bad memories in it for you, it can become like a parasitical energy because every time you go in, it stimulates negative, bad emotions. And although you still need to do with them, you don't need to be reliving that, right? Just like the people. How many times you come around people. Right now, people are big parasites and they're parasites to themselves. Like you can be your own parasitical energy, and how you know that you have negative entities in you actually is you'll gravitate to things like drinking, alcohol, a lot of pharmaceutical drugs, recreational drugs, a lot of anger, a lot of deep-seated. That's how those negative energies live within you. A lot of lying, a lot of deception, negative energies within you. And the deep entities will try to convince you that you're just, such a great guy or girl. That's how you can see the really red flags. So people, places, now things. Things can also become parasitical energy to you because as we pick something up, right, it carries an imprint. So like I know with the cards, for instance, I tell people when they're using the Body Regen cards for energy shifts, don't share your cards because you don't know. You can clean them out, sure, but I wouldn't be letting random people or just everyone touch your cards. But everything you touch, so if I touch this or I touch the oils or I touch that, I get an imprint. Everybody has an imprint. It's like your bed. If you're going to get divorced, what's the first thing I tell people to get rid of? Get rid of the matrimonial bed because the bed carries all the processing, the energy. So there are imprints in there. So it's very difficult to clean the energy out of a bed. So that thing becomes very toxic to you sleeping in. It's better to get a new bed, go get a good organic bed. Something that is brand new that's processing just you. So even furniture, that's why people I know, they've gone to these secondhand shops and they bought like rocking chairs and they're rocking in their house. I have things that turn on in my house all the time, guys. I'm telling you, like TVs. Every time, this was really crazy. my TV would go on a lot. And it was always my grandfather that would come through. So I figured out what was going on. I knew somebody was coming in. I was like, is that you? Is that you? You know, I don't see the spirits like a medium spirit. So I see, feel, hear, but obviously different ways of doing things, right? So I'm not talking to dead people. But my grandfather does visit me a ton. And he's always been with me since he died when I was quite young as a teenager. And we were very close. And so every time I needed to be warned, like somebody was going to come around or something, my TV would go on like full blast. Didn't matter what time it was, negative energy, like it was always a sign. And that's the sign that something was happening. So, you know, those kind of things, you can be warned for sure. So always know that your environment has a lot of ability for spirit to go through, but then also it can hold old attachments. So that's why I say, ideally, I don't like secondhand furniture and things. It can be very heavy. I know a couple who actually have a very poverty mentality. They do a lot of drinking. They do a lot of drugs. They do a lot of very cultish-y kind of behavior. And their whole house is very dark. And their whole house, I went in there one time and younger people, and their whole house is full of everything secondhand. And it was interesting because the more they got into the secondhand stuff, the vibration even lowered, the more drinking, the more drugs, like everything got really, really, really bad. And like hoarder house, like really gross, right? So there's nothing uplifting. Their energy got sucked in. Now, this is how it's also easy to get sucked into the enemy spirit, because entities and dark energies feed off that lower vibration. So I'll do a second video for you on that if you would like. So parasites are always people, places, and things. So remember, whoever touches stuff has an imprint. It's why when even I buy a crystal or anything, I actually align it. I'll like clean it up, put it in the sun. If I eat my food or I have a cup of tea, I'm like, okay, I do the Dr. Emoto thing. Remember, like I was worked on a film he was in. I think it was 2015. No, maybe it was, no, way before that, maybe 2005, actually. 2005, yeah. So love, I'll write love, and I'm like, love, I infuse it with love. It tastes very different, guys. And anything I bring in from outside, I clean it. I would highly recommend you don't take things from people unless you know it's true, it's coming from their heart. That can also attract parasitical energies. When you come into contact with a parasitical energy, or you've been around one, you'll get very tired, like I said. You'll feel very drained. You can get very bad headaches or migraines. If a building is actually very toxic on a parasitical level, so if a lot of people are in the building and they're very angry, that energy will breed, which will become parasitical into your emotional body. And then that can make you feel anxious and depressed and nervous and scared. So then your system takes it on. And a lot of people were not trained on how to move that energy out. It's one of the things with corporations that they actually need to learn how to do is how to rebalance the energy of their building, which goes far beyond just feng shui in a building, like far beyond. And then what you need to do is actually teach the employees how to release the negative energy for the day and how to speak to each other differently so you can create a more harmonious space in your work environment. And people go, oh, what's hooey-wooey? Well, you increase your revenue. You'll not only increase your revenue, people work harder and they're happier and they're more loyal to you as a company as well. So companies can be very parasitical. If you work for a toxicity, like a company that's full of toxicity, look at the healthcare system. It's extremely toxic, right? It's a sick care system. It's called healthcare, but it's sick care. So that's energy that, you have to look at. So what does everybody require for a shift today? Body Regen? Okay, so what does everybody watching this require for a shift? Okay, I'm going to pull 3 cards. Let's see this is funny what we're reading. These cards, we dealt with them in a 5-day certification class I did for people that want to actually use the methods I teach to help people. I like to teach things that you can use walking down the street. So energy is shifting and moving much quicker. So if you like meditation or Reiki or things like that, they're great, but they're kind of slow. You can't use it in the boardroom. And then things have to change. So I teach things that you can do walking down the street, do while you're at work, help your loved ones like now. You don't have to sit there and just meditate all day long or swirl the purple light. That's kind of old stuff. Doesn't really work as fast anymore. So it's fun. So click, like, subscribe. Okay, you know the drill. I hate doing this whole thing, but you guys know it's not who I am. But you guys, I want to be here for you, and this is who I am. It's just real. I just want to help the people that want to be helped. Okay, remove blockages. So thank you, God. I'm going to start to remove the accumulation of blockages. So blockages is where you would have fears of removing the toxicity, so the parasitical energy out of your body. So parasites, where you would have a problem moving the parasites, because parasites become like our friends. So they don't want to be removed out of your life. For example, if you have somebody that's draining your bank account, or you have somebody that's sucking the life force energy, especially if you're in a relationship, and we've all been there, right? I've been there. And always manipulating and always blaming you for things. And maybe that's your pattern to get rid of, but they're sucking your life force energy so they can carry on and do their bad stuff, right? You can create a block because you can be feeling bad, but also they'll manipulate to make you feel bad, because they need your life force energy to carry on. They need what you can provide them. So you become like their fuel. They're their food. So as soon as you disconnect, they got to do everything to try to bring it back. That's why narcissists will love bomb you or manipulate or whatever, because they think that the more evil they are to you, the more you're going to come back. But eventually you will break if you're an empath. So don't beat yourself up on it. But this is removing those blockages. So you see clearly, and people, places, and things, you can remove that energy and say at all costs. So remember, it's your life. So at all costs, you don't have to sit there and, it's get rid of the guilt, get rid of the shame. It's your life. Live it the way you want to. And that's always what I expand on. So remove the family blueprint. The reason this is, I can see this to remove the family blueprint, which is going on right now in the world. So the blueprints that we carry with our family are changing and shifting, and we're being divided a lot right now. I've seen in my own family. And the reason this is, we got to remove it, is what happens is when you take that out, the family blueprint, it has got a lot of bad behaviors and a lot of things to do with parasitical energy, right? But you have a blueprint that's connected to your soul and your spirit. And that blueprint is your true destiny blueprint, right? So every time you remove something negative, you move up the ladder for something closer to your true blueprint that you were born with your soul and your spirit, which is your dreams and the visions, right? So we want to remove the interference of the family blueprint. So parasites within your family. So where they speak negativity to you, or they're not positive, or the people that just cut you out, like this right fighting, screw you, I know what I'm doing, rather than coming with compassion, they come with anger and they come with frustration. And I see this a lot, even in my ex-husband. Like, I've spoken to a dude in 20 years and he's angry as a hornet, trying to like divide everything because he's so angry. That blueprint has hit, my kids, right, in different ways. So I have to remove it off, because that angry right fighting is parasitical energy. And what happens is, when you can't let them get to you, I'm a pretty open book. If you're in my community, you guys know me. I'm like, I tell you like it is, right? We all have stuff that we got to move through. But it's very interesting, because when you remove that blueprint, you literally sit there, like, I laugh. I'm like, wow, sucks to be you. Like, you're really in a bad spot. I haven't spoken to you in 20 years and you're still angry. But that's parasitical energy. So see how he's obsessed with the anger, which is making him then outwardly projected, which is affecting the family blueprint, right? So rather than going to love and harmony, he pulls down everything in front of him, which then is parasitical energy. So that's how that works. And the final one we have here is remove curses, witchcraft, spells, black magic. So curses are the manipulation energy that comes especially from people that could be very narcissistic, people that could be very manipulative. They're parasites because they need your energy. So we start to remove that accumulation of energy. Witchcraft, spells, black magic is a history of people that do voodoo. Can also turn into bad entities and energies that I can speak about later. If you'd like, comment below. And then histories of where people would get involved or be called witches or curses or any of that, like spells, black magic. So lotions, potions that are meant to do harm. And a lot more of this is, we put them together to remove that accumulation of energy. But the bigger one with parasites on this card is curses, and it's word curses. It's cursing ill will to somebody, like all of that. So it can be very strong. So let's start to remove. We go through your entire being, right? And your heart drive is what I always say, your heart drive is the main source. Your heart drive always needs to override the brain, right? Heart drive. Yeah, I've called it the heart drive forever. So thank you, God. Let's remove that accumulation of energy. And I'm telling you, if you work in corporations, their life force energies, their family. So corporations become the extension of the things you need to learn in your family. So there can be a lot of parasitical energies in corporations, and they don't talk about it because most of them don't even know. And then they wonder why people are not getting along, and you have all these HR problems because they're not teaching them that the hierarchy to the lower. So the CEO becomes like the parent, right? And the CFO, they're like parents and grandparents up here, and then you've got all the kids and they're all positioning, and there's a way they come and go, and there is a way that you have to move the systems together because it becomes very parasitical and toxic. So curses also show up in companies a lot because people are ill will or they're positioning to get into another position, and then that's parasitical energy because it's a sucking of a life force energy to maybe move you out of the way. So parasites' job is they need you for their fuel, they need you for their food. So really, really discern that. And when you go to extract them, they get very pissed because they don't want to lose their fuel source. They don't want to lose their fuel source. It's really interesting. I'll share this. When I was dating, I noticed this, even like with my ex-husband and the people I sort of dated afterwards, was that when I left, because I kept doing my work, they all got like bad. Like they're everything about them just sunk. Like people are like, oh my God, have you seen so-and-so? They look 10 years older or whatever it might be. But that's just because, again, you're not their fuel anymore. So I had to learn that as an empath, that my space was, well, if I care, then, they can have this better life and whatever that was. And then you just realize that, you can't fix anyone. They have to be willing to fix themselves. So they need your fuel source. But when you unplug, then that's where life starts to. And you can see this with your friends that you unplug from. You can see this from different places. You can see them go, wow, they've really sunk because they were using you as their fuel source. So when you pull away their food, right, they start starving until they find somebody else that they can take fuel from, but depending on where the vibration is. So there it is. So parasites, comment below your experience with parasites. I'd love to hear it. Click the like, subscribe, and share. Come join me on the Telegram. You can book your Read It Now below, which is a video of me. I pull both the tarot cards and the Body Regen cards and show you what we're shifting, give you some tools and things you can use, and a snapshot up to 1 or 3 questions, whatever you like. That's all below. And I'll see you on the Telegram. Have a great week, everybody. It is time to go into the next month, which will be November. So enjoy the eclipse, enjoy all those energies, because as I explained on the Telegram, there's a lot of stuff that's affecting our bodies right now, but don't be scared. You're upgrading to new levels, new vibrations, and allowing the division to go further. All right. I love you guys. Have a great day.